I'm definitely a single right now. I'm definitely single at this point. Yeah. I yeah, I am dating. Um there right now there is one person in particular who I like and who I think is really solid. And so I am just flowing with these things. I'm just flowing with these things and just letting them play out because I'm not looking to jump into anything that is not the best thing for me right now. I have so much happening that I can't I can't I can't risk bringing something into my life that is not going to be nurturing to my growth. Um so that's how I'm approaching it right now. And it's who because it's so trippy how quickly you can cycle through people. Like, I know how that sounds, but I mean just dating. I mean dating totally. Like, I don't engage physically with I don't engage physically. Here's the thing. I'm not capable actually of engaging physically unless I feel an emotional connection. I don't experience primary sexual attraction. Um, it's part of being demisexual. I'm pretty demisexual. Like I don't experience primary sexual attraction. I am able to recognize human beauty or human attractiveness, but I don't. I'm not. I can't experience arousal through physical attraction. Like I can only experience arousal through emotional attraction. So, with that being said, that kind of um, it's funny how you can cycle through people just like dating wise, like just like because I'm talking about this guy or I mention this guy and I'm just in my mind I'm tripping out because just like 2 weeks ago I would have said this and it was another guy, it was a different guy. Um, but like that's the way the dating game goes, right? Like, it you gotta it's a bunch of little experiments, and you put these two chemicals together and you see what happens. And sometimes cool explosions happen, sometimes like sparkly things happen, and then sometimes it just fizzles out. Or sometimes it um explodes. There's all kinds of I think I already said explosions, right? But like bad explode, like explode and destroy everything. um so yeah, there's all these things you know that go with that whole like dating thing. So yeah, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how quickly you can, or how quickly I can. Let's not I'm not gonna project onto others the way that I am. Look, it's a heart. Sometimes being southern in New England it's a little bit tough, a little bit tricky. Not tough, a little bit tricky because it is bitter cold, you guys. I don't know if you really get it. Like, it gets bitter cold, okay? And when you got like southern blood and bones, when you got like, you know what I mean? Like, I have like bird bones, okay? And like bird bones and like I don't even know. Like bird bones and lizard blood. There you go. You know how lizards, like amphibians, how they, wait, no, not amphibians, reptiles. You know how reptiles are cold-blooded creatures? I think amphibians fit too because they can be cold-blooded. Okay, so cold-blooded creatures, you know how they become inactive in the winter? Like when it's really cold, they like stop moving, they like die, kind of. They go into a state of like inactivity. That is how I feel, but because I'm human, I can't do that. I have to actually like continue to live and be alive. And that is the problem. See, if I could just hibernate, right, through this, then I'd be awesome. I'd be all set. But I can't. I have to like keep going. So it's like I have to jiggle myself or something and like shake up the blood, get it hot, and then I can live. Plus, there are certain things like also I've also run into certain misunderstandings of my nature as a person, my way of being, that I know are based on that I know are based on those cultural differences, like things related to my level of my level of my level of what's the word that I want to use? Not like my like my level of submissiveness or my level of need for being able to treat people hospitably. Because these things now I don't know if this is like now I don't know if this is southern or based on like rearing, but for me personally, hospitality and bringing people hospitality and warmth and making people feel comfortable and relaxed, those things are all ingrained. Those things are all like parts of my personality. They're just a part of what I do on autopilot. There's nothing, it's not like I go out of my way to do this stuff. That's just the way that I am, right? On the surface. Because again, it's part of my personality, it's part of my makeup. But what people misunderstand is thinking it was like people get in this groove of the surface is all that you are, which is natural, right? Everyone does that to some extent. But no, I have a current of feelings just like everyone else does. And I deal with them my own way, and really it's not for anybody else to like understand. I mean, I really don't care about the misunderstandings because they don't change my world. But they put people in situations where they're thinking one thing is going to happen and then something else happens because essentially they think that I'm going to care more than I actually do. But they don't understand, the misunderstanding is coming in that they don't understand that like being like warm, gregarious, friendly, and like peace seeking is part of my nature. It's part of like my behavior pattern. It's part of the way that I behave. But it doesn't mean that like it's all that I know or all that I like understand on the end. You know what I mean? Like I understand when somebody's being a bitch to me, just like anybody else does. I understand when somebody's talking shit about me just as the same as anybody else does. I understand when somebody is, doesn't do me or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I understand all these things just like anybody else does. I think the difference is just the level to which I don't give a fuck people get confused because they think that my not giving a fuck is me, I don't know, being afraid or being like, um, not wanting to say anything or not wanting to like, I don't know. I don't know if it's, yeah. I think that's what it is. I think that they mistake the level to which that I don't care as like me being like, I don't know, afraid or something, or like, there's a word for this. There's a word. There is a word. But you know, like avoiding, or like the kind that avoids. You know what I mean? When in fact I'm actually a very direct person, and I actually prefer to address things head on, and that's typically how I deal with them. In fact, in I'm saying typical, but I can't think of any situation I don't. Yeah, like that's the way I'm actually very straightforward, which is also something that people get mixed. They miss that part because this is also a part of my very like outward personality, but they miss that part, but they catch the other part. And I think it's just because it's nature to want to, to want to like be in control of some social situation, or like want to, somehow position themselves in a way that they feel more like, I don't know, in control, powerful, I don't know, whatever. The point being, or the point that I was making was that that can be sometimes like a cultural barrier that I've run into, and it's something that I didn't even notice for a long time. I didn't even notice that it was happening for a long time, and I thought, like, what's funny? Like, it's funny that people are seeming to try, like, people are seeming to be more like trying of like getting one over than at other times I remember in my life. But and I think that is just because at another time in my life I lived in a place where culturally it is, I think culturally it is more expected and natural, and like for people to be very like friendly and open, and like appearing hospitable. Um yeah, but that is exactly what it is. It's just like it's just like all these things are just like cultural actions, but people are people everywhere, and everybody has a dark side, and everybody has a light side. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a, everybody is made up of two polarities, is the thing, And some people just conveniently, they conveniently like ignore my dark side because they would rather always have my light side in their mind so that they can feel safe and like comfortable to try to get one over. You know what I mean? And then so I always end up coming to these situations where like there's like this anticlimax. There's like this other party, or there's like a there's like this other entity, right? The other party who I think expects like some sort of like a build up and then a thing to happen, and it's always anticlimactic because I always kind of pull the rug out from under it because I don't give a fuck. Like, and it's hard to carry on something with someone who doesn't give a fuck, because then it's like talking to a brick wall, or like dealing with yourself, when at the end of the day, in reality, the way that I take it is that's what you need to do anyway. You gotta kind of go deal with yourself, because if somebody else is like not even, if somebody's feeling if somebody's feeling different emotions than what you are feeling regarding a situation, then I think it's probably a good idea to examine the positions of both parties, and examine why each party feels the way that they feel. And I think that that'll give people a greater perspective on what's going on inside them, on what's really going on inside them. Because, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with a party outside of yourself, especially if especially if you're feeling and thinking all these things and they are like not giving a shit, or not like engaging with it, or not like it's not it's not like in their reality. You know what I mean? But it is in yours. It does exist in your, whatever this thing is, these things, these feelings, these whatever. These things are existing in your reality, but they're not existing in the other part of the reality, in the other party's reality. And so obviously, like, somebody's got to make everything real. That's all. So if you're the only person experiencing something, then you are probably the person who is making it real.